So coming in at number 89 with 63 points, we've got Davey Boy Smith. And everyone's got to love them a little bit of Davey Boy Smith every now and then. One of the British Bulldogs. I anytime I think about Davey Boy Smith, you instantly think of Heart Foundation, being in that group, and also with him being in a prominent tag team with um what's his name,
Dynamite Kid.
Dynamite Kid. Geez, I read that book on Brett. I should know all about that. And yeah, just instantly I think about SummerSlam 92 that we've already talked about here on the channel. Um, from a while back, so be able to check that out too. When we reviewed that, so that's one of the all-time greatest Intercontinental Championship matches of all time. But what'd you guys have? What you guys have for Davey Boy Smith?
So my first thing with Davy Boy is we sort of did this with Slaughter before, right? Is I go to the
Oh yeah,
Hasbro with the punch, or excuse me, with the slam action, got the dreads on. He had a great look, man. And when he faced Brett and beat Brett for the IC title, that was when I was really, really into my, infancy of all of the time wrestling consumption. I still remember the like actually remember watching the show where he went to superplex Shawn Michaels off of the top rope. It was like a prime time or something, prime time wrestling maybe, and Shawn countered it in midair and gave him like essentially like a crossbody and pinned him for the IC title, and that was what started Shawn's Intercontinental reign in the late '92 and then early 1993. When he left, then right after that, because I was now completely enamored with pro wrestling, he hopped to WCW, and very very underrated thing is that he was there when the Shawn there on the stage whenever the Shockmaster burst through the wall. He said there was an F word with his heavy British accent that's pretty famous. But he had that tag match with Sting. So I love the WCW run. When he came back into WWF, we had the Heart Foundation, as you had said. That later run then after the back injury and everything, the poor fella, man, he didn't deserve to go out like that. I mean, obviously he was riddled with all sorts of personal demons stemming from years of substance abuse and whatnot. But nobody deserves to take a rock bottom into a, because Bobby Winters, anytime we bring his name up, that's what he reminds us of, is that Davey Boy got smashed into dog poop. But yeah, dude, Davey deserves to be here. I'm glad he made the list. And so, yes, good for you, Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah, so Davey Boy, again, this is a little bit before my time, but I've been going back to this era, especially when he was a singles guy, to try and watch some of the new gen stuff. I was pretty young at that point. But to look at him and he looks like $1,000,000, and that doesn't make a top 100 wrestler, but just that match at SummerSlam versus Bret Hart and how influential that was for a lot of people. They referenced it at All In London about how that started so many people's wrestling careers and how influential that was. He was in the biggest places, in boom periods and for some not boom periods. He held some championships, obviously the Intercontinental. He was also European champion. He had some ups and downs with some of the extracurriculars and things like that. But to me, he belonged in the top 100. Just an iconic character from that time frame.
Andretti, what do you got for Davey Boy?
Inaugural European champ, very decorated tag team guy. Obviously, I loved him when I was a kid. The Bulldogs were kind of on their way, on their way out at that point when I was a kid and just started watching wrestling. But the SummerSlam match with Hart is in my top 5. I've watched that match a million times. It's fantastic. Intercontinental champion, hardcore champ. What else we got here? Obviously tag team champ 100 times. No, had the run in WCW. I think two runs in WCW, I believe. But just one of those guys that really stood out, had a great character, great physique, strong as hell. A very memorable guy that people are going to remember for years to come. And the Evil Heart Foundation is my favorite faction of all time. That's kind of the height of my wrestling fandom, was right around that era whenever Hart was a heel and he had the Hart Foundation. So that guy's always going to have a place in my heart for sure. And I'm also glad that he made the list.